Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for Week 14. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here, and welcome back to this week's news report, where once again it is time not only to have a look through the last week, which has certainly shown a lot of volatility, a lot of turmoil is going on here actually, with the individual tariffs around the world issued out by the US. We're obviously going to see exactly the impact on this particular one in here. And one of the things has been sort of a huge profit surge all over our EAs in here, especially on the profit retrieval EAs from Expert Forex. We have seen some huge gains in the past week in here. Some of them are even going as far as pretty much scraping up the same kind of profit in the first 4 or 5 days in here as it did for the entire month. And we're going to have a closer look so you can see which ones did well, which ones kept everything under control. As usual, this is what this video is all about, so you can get a good idea what is actually happening with the EAs, which ones are the best ones, which ones, if you are starting into your trading career, which ones should you actually start off with. And we're also gonna, of course, have a look at Experts Forex sites for the coupling service in here. That particular list has gotten a lot shorter thanks to all the big mayhem that's going on around the world. A lot of different currencies are now basically tipping over and trending. The US dollar itself is normally where you put your money when things are getting uncertain. That is not happening. It's going to the euro, it's going to the Swiss francs instead. So also here, you will have to have a look and see which ones are the ones that are up, which ones are the ones that are the safe currencies here at the moment. And obviously there's the monthly profit also. So this was actually due at the end of, or the beginning of last week in here. So, and we have to go through that. And it's actually a bit of a mix because some of the monthly profits, as I mentioned here before, seems to be very similar to what we just went through in that 1 week. Very interesting, huge profits all over the place here. Some of them even more than 10 times the normal. Obviously, we're also going to have a look at Alex's videos, Expert Forex in here, because he's also talking about a grid trader. And as with all of the other ones, grid trading setups that Alex has here, all these EAs, well, they all made a very substantial amount of money this particular week. So let's get into it and let's see exactly where the profit lies. So starting off with Yieldnodes, we are going straight into the website as always in here. Nothing has changed. You're going down to the audit coin reserves just to see if anything is actually changed, if there's any updates here on the Yieldnodes and the Decenomy Pro masternodes in here. And from what we can see, everything is pretty much the same as last week. Week 13 is on the left hand. Week 14, the last week we had in here on the right hand side. The ones that we are interested in, the PNY, we have 275 and you got the value in here. 275 is also what we have this particular week. Same thing on the SAP, 39.21, 39.21. So again, it doesn't seem to be updated on a weekly basis here at the moment. The only thing we can see is a difference is the FLS in here, where you have masternodes running 1276. That one seems to have popped down to the bottom of the screen in here and now shows 0 all the way through, even though the value is still here. Not exactly sure what's happening there, but we have no updates on anything that has changed in the past week. So maybe this is just a clinical error and hopefully it'll be corrected for next week. In the meantime, let's go and have a look at the value, how it develops with SAP. Pretty much status quo as always. You have a few entries in here. We noticed a few buys. And then just before and yesterday here where we're shooting the video, looks like there was a few sale, but at the end of the day, doesn't change any of the coin pricing in here. It's still pretty much at the lowest level it can actually get to. So what we're going to go is go and have a look and see how our staking is going on instead. So that one has definitely been on the rise, as you noticed here for the past couple of weeks and months here also. We are now up to 90,000, so that is obviously quite nice. This particular week here, we've done 4,701 SAP, which is around 5.2%. And if we go and have a look at the month of February and March, you can see that March was an extremely good month with 31,959 SAP coins in here. Great. But we also notice that every single time we now get the SAP coin, it's going down. It used to be around 130, I believe, if I remember correct. And then it's 111. And now we can see it's 107. So it continues to go down. We have gotten a few in for April here also, but it looks like everything has slowed down. If you remember the last couple of times and last weeks, we've managed to get around 10% per week almost. So again, small little change in here. We'll have to see if all the staking here is going to stop anytime soon again. Obviously, also, we're going to have a look at PNY. That seems to be continuing, also with 133 every single time. That hasn't changed. We have overall now 63,938 PNY, which is quite a lot. So this week we got 6,384, and that's actually 10%, so very nice. But again, when the coin price is the same as what you have with SAP, then it doesn't really go anywhere. For the month of March, that is definitely the best month with 18,620. And it looks like also that April already is on the move here. If it's going to hit the same high as it was in March, that's too early to tell. If we base this on the Bitcoin USDT, we can certainly see that this week's development, so both in the stock market, on the trading, and now here also on a lot of the different crypto coins, they started off very well in the beginning of the last week in here and managed to reach about 88,000. Since then, it was then trading sideways again because of the uncertainties definitely in the market. And since then, it has actually dropped in the past couple of days and currently trading around the 65, 67,000 mark in here. Almost hit the 74,000 down here, as you can see. So we'll have to basically see what the market is going to do. It very much depends on everything else that goes around the world at the moment, not just what's happening in the US, but also what's happening in the other countries and how they actually retaliate against the US. We have to look at Trade Explorer, and Trade Explorer is actually one of the sad news I have for you this week. So we're going to start off with the month of March, which looks quite nice. You remember that I set up a new 6-pair one, which is supposed to be safer, better, lower drawdown than the 10-pair one. We managed to get 1,562 or 15.6%. So that was quite nice and very much anticipated. So based on the calculations we did, and also in here 1,681 for the 10-pair one with 16.8%. So basically they were very, very even in the profits that they actually managed. And if we go have a look at the 10-pair one in here, we can see the bumps every single time. We had one time here where we had a bit of a drawdown, lost a bit of money, but again claimed it back. And we had quite a few bumps since then. That this was a huge one here, where we managed to continue with the account. And you can see the 1,681 compared to 1,500, 1,600 in here. They were quite good. The last bump, and this is actually this huge bump in here where it made 5,700. So again, it makes a lot of money every single time it does the drawdown. And if we have a look at the 6-pair one also for the month, 1,562. It didn't run very long in here, so only started late in February. That's why you only see the 53 in here. Now the sad news is both account has actually blown and blown big time here. So due to the heavy volatility in the market, so we had the 6-pair on a $10,000 account, basically just leveled out completely in here. We had the 10-pair one, which has been going now for several years. You have seen a lot of my videos over time. And this particular time in here, there was not one, but several of currency pairs that basically trended in this particular special Trump market here, where everything was going on about the tariffs. Everybody was running away from the US dollar, but it also had a big impact on a couple of other currencies, and I'll show you that in a minute. So this is the disaster graph that we have in here, the 10-pair one. Look how nice it was. All of a sudden, everything just comes to a grinding halt. This particular one hasn't lost everything. I think we were around 55,000 last time. It has lost 37,000 in just one single day. So this is the scary part of this particular EA here. When things go wrong, they go seriously wrong. Same thing here with the 6-pair one, even that we basically stopped the lot sizing at a lower level than the 10-pair one. The movement was so heavy in here that even that one just lost about 11,000. It was doing quite well, as you can see, with 53, 500, 600. Had a bad week with 179, then it came back with 200, and then all this happened, completely wiping out the accounts. So extremely sad. I'm going to try and show you here just what has happened. And the first thing you look at is Aussie USD. So this is the currency in here. So normally they move very well in tandem. So a 400 pip move is certainly big, but it's not the biggest we've seen. The issue we have in here with this particular EA is it said it first buy up here at 0.03, which is not too bad. And then we see that the escalation of this particular EA here sets another one and then another one, and it's actually getting closer and closer. You'll see some gaps in here, but that is actually because, again, it had a margin call in here, so it's closing some of the trades off. If you look down here, you can see a buy of 1.14, the other one was 0.99, and you know, it just have gone up. Even the biggest one, when it hit the bottom down here, has been wiped out also. We managed to get up into a lot size of 6 or 7, and that is definitely not attainable with a $10,000 account. Same thing here also for the New Zealand USD, 300 pip, so range in here. And again, because of the nature of the EA that is set up, it normally recovers very, very quickly because it's expecting some kind of retracement. And this particular small retracement here and there and here was definitely not enough to get out of all the trades again. It increases the lot size significantly as it goes down. And at the same time, the scaling in between the individual grids is actually not expanding, but closing off. This is completely opposite of what we are actually doing on our Expert Forex EAs. And that's why it's gone so very badly in here. That system that works very, very nicely in normal markets, certainly not when news like this comes out, then everything crashes and burns. Now for the Wave Liberator, we're going back and then showing you the weeks first. So this is week 14, and basically we had a very good week in here with Euro USD coming in at $89, 8.9%. So basically enough for what you would normally expect for an entire month. Euro Swiss francs, $77, 7.7%. With New Zealand Swiss francs, $55, 5.5%. You can see that people are running to the Swiss francs, and the other ones they are running to here is also the Japanese yen. So instead of going back to the US dollar normally, Aussie Japanese at $46, 4.6%, and US Japanese $45, 4.5%, and that gives the Wave Liberator for week 14 $312 or 6.2% just for the week in here. So very good week, of course. And if we go and have a look at the portfolio itself, it still looks good with the nice smooth graph in here. Floating profit and loss is up. So from last week, not as much as you would have seen other ones. Mostly it is the account that was already in drawdown that has gotten back into being a bit worse. And the rest of them seems to be dealing with it quite well. Monthly returns again popped up because of the heavy return this week, 1.1 or 11% on $1,000 accounts. Trade wins coming in at about 68%. And then trades per day, we're having at 14 with a history of 594 days. And you can obviously find all these ones in here because now it becomes even more importantly that you go to our website, you click on these individual links to see which ones that are best. You can do that after this particular video here is over because it'll give you a better idea of which ones are good, which ones are bad, as we also go through the copy link service. So in here, you'll notice that 771 is what we actually made for the week overall for the portfolio compared to 216, 382, 346. So this is a very, very high one. and we have to go all the way back in here to November to find something that was actually anything higher. So this has been an extremely good month or week actually for this particular EA, but it has provided almost enough profits for the entire month. So looking good, and we're also happy to see that everything has crashed. So if we go to the month of March for the same Wave Liberator, again, you can see it's dominated by Euro Swiss francs, $152, 15.2% for the month. Very, very well and approved. US Japanese, $137, 13.7%. With Great British Pounds Japanese coming in at $131, 13.1%. Great British Pounds USD also very volatile this week, $126, 12.6%. And then Euro USD, $114, 11.4%. And then creates $660 or 13.2%. And this is actually before the heavy volatility. There was some based on all the rumors in here, but this will only go on to the month of April, and you will see those particular ones in here. So if we have a look for the month of March, you can see $1,763. So it is a bit higher than the previous month. So that's good to see. It's good and stable. And you'll also notice that we made some changes here end of 2024. It has taken the profit down, but it also means that the accounts is a lot more stable. They have a lot harder time blowing. So, and that's exactly what we wanted, but it's still cashing in quite nicely. But have a look just for the week here, first week of April. It's already done $623. And that's only for the first 4 days of the month. So obviously this looks to be a very good month just for those particular days in here. RSI Liberator, same thing here for the week 14. Top 5 EAs, US CAD, $115, 11.5% is more than you would expect for an entire month. Also in here, Aussie USD, $99, 9.9%. Great British Pounds Swiss francs, $95, 9.5%, and followed by European Great British Pounds, $87, 8.7%, with US Japanese at $79, 7.9%, $475, 9.5%. That's a very good number, so definitely in a very, very good range. Same thing goes here for the portfolio itself. You can see there's actually a bit of a profit heap up in here. Floating profit and loss is a bit up again, so that is very natural. So based on exactly what's happening in the world, nobody can feel safe. Monthly returns is still 0.9% or 9% on $1,000 accounts with trade wins of 66%. And we have 363 days, so pretty much a year here now. For that particular one, trades per day 18, so a bit more active than the Wave Liberator. Also in here, it becomes very important that you go and have a look, see those particular currency pairs. You can also go and look at the drawdowns, anything else that you want to see that is not part of this report, because this is supposed to be a short and concrete report showing you exactly the profits that are made. And you can obviously make the sell calculations in here, also going on our website. And here you will see a massive profit increase. That's also why you can see a heavy uplift in the trend in here. Overall portfolio, $1,167. Look at what has come in the past weeks, 220, 230, 274. So pretty much it made up everything in those 4 days, similar to what we've done the month before. And if we have a look at all the numbers, well, there has been nothing similar to this in that particular period from end of September 2024 and until now. So that just shows you again what a volatile week this has been. When we go to the month of March, so this was definitely also a good month for the RSI, with EuroCAD $143, 14.3%, very, very acceptable for just for the month of March. US Swiss francs $139, 13.9%, with Great British Pounds Japanese $135, 13.5%, and then Aussie CAD $127, 12.7%, with Great British Pounds USD $112, 11.2%, and overall 5 $1,000 accounts, you would have made $655 or 13.1%. Very, very good and strong EA. Again here, we're going to have a closer look at the history. And for the month, you can also notice here 1,655 is what we did for the month of March for the entire portfolio. Here we have 1,400, and then back in December, we had 1,900, and you can see also back in 2024. So it's clear things have been dialed down a bit. They are a lot more safe now, even from things like what has happened in the past week. But have a look at the profit that has already come in just over the last 4 days, or the first 4 days here in April, 1,020. There's no doubt about it that we're going to break the record here for 2025. But we'll have to wait and see, of course, how it develops. And you can follow all of that on our website. Again, you can follow the Wave Liberator RSI, and also what we're going to show you now, the Hedged EA, which has certainly cashed in major parts just for the past 4 days. So for the Hedged EA, week 14, top 5 EAs, look at the numbers. Great British Pounds AUD, $317, 31.7%. Now, we used to see that in the past sometimes, but after we have dialed our EAs down to be a lot more safe, this is not numbers we normally see. Euro AUD, $248, 24.8%. Aussie USD, $176, 17.6%, with Aussie Swiss francs, $155, 15.5%, and then Aussie CAD, $123, 12.3%. Overall, these top 5 $1,000 accounts would have made you $1,020 or 20.4%, and this is just for the week. Again, the portfolio in here, you have no doubt when you look at the graphs to see what has actually happened in here. The Hedged EA cashed in heavily. Also, the profit and loss in here has actually increased, so a bit more than all the other EAs when we look at it. Monthly returns has also gone up from about 1.2, 1.3 to 1.5 or 15% on $1,000 accounts. Trade wins remain high of more than 71, with trades per day about 19.5, and a history now of 77 days is where you can find a lot more, as we've had some of these on the coupling service, not all of them. And now it will take some time because of the volatility in here. I'm sure Alex will not allow any more to come in right now until we see what else is going to happen here in the market. So let's go and have a look at the individual weeks that we have here for the entire portfolio. Have a look at it, 1,997 in here compared to the last 3 or 4 weeks in here. So it made more money in the last 4 days than it did in the entire month. So a massive change, and again, shows you what is actually happening in the market, how volatile it is at the moment. So be very, very careful. Now we're also going to have a look at the month of March in here with the top 5 EAs. And also this one has done extremely well because there was volatility already in the market. So for the EuroCAD, $222, 22.2%, with Great British Pounds Aussie, $183, 18.3%, and then Great British Pounds Swiss francs, $178, 17.8%, with Euro USD coming in at $177, 17.7%, and then Euro Swiss francs. You'll notice again a lot of Swiss francs, so it has been building up. So here for the month of April, $168, 16.8%, and also here for the month of March, very high, good profits, $928 or 18.6%. For those top 5 EAs in here, definitely approved. And when we have a look at the entire portfolio again in here, then you'll see that the number we have here is 1,936, so a bit better than we had in February. But have a look at the month of April where we are. This is only after 4 days, 1,839. So obviously there's going to be a massive profit for the month here of April. So obviously it's going to be very interesting, but there's no doubt this is going to be another record. Going for the lucky trader for week 14. Also here, this has dramatically increased the profits with the Aussie Swiss francs. You notice the Swiss francs again here, right? $157, 15.7%, We have the US Swiss francs, $149, 14.9%. And then the Aussie CAD, $146, 14.6%, with Euro USD coming in at $134, 13.4%, and the Aussie USD, $133, 13.3%, and also here, high but not the highest, $719, 14.4% for these top 5 EAs in here. So definitely good numbers that we are hitting for the week. Also in this, if you look at the nice smooth curve in here, it has also taken a huge hike up. Floating profit and loss, yes, it is also up. We are expecting this one to go down over the next week or two. Hopefully that the market will recover somewhat. Monthly returns also here, 1.3% is gone up from prior weeks because of the good results in here. 13% overall for the portfolio. If you're on $1,000 accounts, trade wins are 70%, trades per day 22, so very active, and a history of 155 days for the entire portfolio also makes this a very, very interesting one. That's also why when you go on our website, we have a lot of these signals on the copy link service already, so you can go and have a closer look to see which ones you actually want to pick. If it's going to be all of them from the top 5, or it's going to be the ones that was the best ones for the month. Maybe a mix will be good. So in the meantime, let's have a look at the entire portfolio. And this is for the week that we just had, 1,575. Again, look at the difference. 149 last week, 176, 377, 863. We are not even close, only when we actually launched this particular EA in here. And this was right around the presidential election in the US. We had a similar volatility in here. And now that has obviously been beaten also. So again, there is some massive trends going on here at the moment, heavy volatility. And if we have a look for the entire month of March, that is also good with Great British Pounds CAD, $196, 19.6%, with Euro CAD, 193, 19.3%. So all of them almost 20% in here just for the month. Euro Swiss francs, $168, 16.8%. 80 Australian CAD, $135, 13.5%. And then Great British Pounds USD, $126, 12.6%. And a total of $818, 16.4%. That also makes this and a very, very good portfolio overall. You'll notice again that there's the usual mix here where the British pounds is involved with the Canadian, which is involved with the European, and the Swiss francs in here. It sort of kind of goes through all of the EAs for this particular week here. And if we have a look at the monthly profits that has come in from the Lucky Trader, then it's pretty good number, 1,677, very stable compared to also the week or the month before. And we have a couple of good months, especially the first one we did was 2,716. If you look at April, we're already at 1,464 just in the first 4 days. So there is a very, very good chance that this also is going to be a new record going forward for the Lucky Trader. Now we still also have to do the Bell Trader, and that one is normally the one that doesn't cash in as well as the other ones. Well, some of them are certainly doing well, and one of them in here is the New Zealand USD, $166, 16.6%, with the Euro Swiss francs at $161 or 16.1%, followed by the Aussie USD, $144, 14.4%, and then we are dropping a bit in profit down to the US CAD, $65, 6.5%, and then New Zealand CAD, $63, 6.3%. Still very good when you're considering this is actually just for week 14 in here. $600 on 5 $1,000 accounts will give you 12.0%. Definitely also nicely approved. Also in here, floating profit and loss has gone up. Very difficult not to in an environment like that, but look also at the profits going up. We can see trade wins are 71%. Trades per day is the lowest we've seen here, 9.8. History 126 days, so doing quite well. And also in here we have a few on the coupling service already, and the rest you can obviously on our website also go click on, have a look, see how much the drawdown has actually impacted some of these currency pairs, which ones actually got off the hook. But we have to have a look also for the weekly returns for the entire portfolio, and that has done well, 764. Again, almost cashes in for whatever we did in the last 3 weeks in here, because that was 205, 156, 247. So the numbers are some of the highest ones that we had since we started, or it is the highest. There's only one place here in February that comes even close. So another record has actually been broken. And if we have a look for the bell trader for the month of March, you'll see the numbers also here. The US CAD, $223, 22.3%. Definitely this currency pair seems to be up there all the time for the bell trader. It seems to be working quite nicely. Then we have the Aussie CAD, $141, 14.1%, with CAD Swiss francs, $128, 12.8%, and then New Zealand Swiss francs, $125, 12.5%, with Aussie USD, $125, 12.5% also in here, and that creates a total of $743, 14.9%. So also extremely good numbers in here. And if we have a look and see how it's done in the past month, 1183 is not as good as last month, but then compared to the prior months, it's doing quite well. And already now here also in the first 4 days, the bell trader has actually done $611 in here of profit. So all of them seems to be cashing quite nicely. It's going to be very interesting to see what outcome will be for the end of the month. In the meantime, also Alex from Expert Forex here is saying he is free grid trader EA, breaks records, and I've just shown you that this seems to be the case for all the grid trading robots, unfortunately except for the Trade Explorer, because it has a different setup than what we normally do manually in here. Don't forget that one is a set and forget. Same thing here with the grid trader that Alex has now also discussing in the video. There is actually a newer version coming out shortly. We hope most probably we're going to set it up with that one to replace what we had on the Trade Explorer in the future. So I will get back to you later on after I've been testing this one for a couple of months, and then obviously we will start sharing it with you. Also in here for this particular week, Alex is actually giving out still these funded accounts in here, and that's a $5,000 instant funded account that you can actually get. And there's a couple of items that you need to do, and you need to make sure in order to be part of the competition. So as usual, I will just put in the video links in the video description below, and then you can go and have a look, because there's quite a few things that has to be there in order for you to do it. It's not really difficult at all. Now we're also going to have a look at the new trading links, and last week I mentioned that new trading links were actually ready. I also showed you the individual EAs where we had some new ones, and again before that I showed you that you can go on our website anytime and find these links in here, but these are the new ones that we set up. And that also means that we're going to go to the Excel in here, and this is the setup that we normally use. Remember last time it was a very, very long list. That list has certainly shortened down quite a bit. We also mentioned that most probably we're just going to take our accounts in here because there's too many strange discrepancies with the other ones, and I don't really have time to sit for hours every single weekend here to go through which ones are actually correct, which ones are not. I know my own signals in here, and that's why this is a lot faster to do. And if you're watching my video, then for sure you might also be interested in our signals. So we're going to try and do that just with ours in here. And again, what we've done is take the Excel from Expert Forex website. You can download that and then put in floating profit and loss has to be less than 300. You can see they are very, very low at the moment. So a lot of them are working well. If you are away from some of these major currency pairs that has been trending and has been impacted by all the news we've seen, number of negative weeks in the last 8 weeks, I think this was actually set up, not for this particular one. It says minus 300, so it is this part that we were looking at this particular week in here, and then return on total drawdown also should be higher than 200. Then we put all the numbers in here And again, you can see the profits are not the highest ones at the moment. So they are a bit on the low side, but that's also why it becomes more stable. It can basically keep the drawdown better under control. And you'll notice that even these ones here, despite everything that goes on in the world, well, they did pretty well, didn't they? So this is what we had for you in this week's news report. As you can see, there's a huge profit surge all around our EAs in here, except obviously our Trade Explorer. We're very, very sad to see this particular one go. It has been with us for a couple of years. It's been a very popular one because also from our side, it has been a set and forget. It has been running quite well. But again, nothing could have prepared this particular EA for what has just happened in the market in the past week in here. At the same time, we've been normally just used to seeing one currency pair going off at the time. Here, all of a sudden, we have several ones. And the way that particular EA is set up is certainly not the way to go forward. So we also believe we're going to have a look at something else instead. It is simply too dangerous to Trade Explorer in here, even though we took some of the normal volatile currency pairs out of it. It just shows again here that you can make all the preparations in the world for the Forex market, but again, it comes back with a vengeance all the time. So we have to be very cautious, we have to be very careful, and obviously also figure out what we're going to pick in the future. The good part to see here is that most of our EAs here is still doing quite well. Yes, some of the drawdowns is a bit higher than we normally would have expected, but again, compared to this massive market change in here, similar to what we had with COVID, then they have done extremely well. A lot of them are still within the $1,000 mark, so it means that the accounts are not blown. But definitely this is a very, very difficult period, not only for the traders in here to figure out what currencies to actually go with, but also here if you're in the stock market. So a lot of people have been shaving off a lot of values, up to about 6 trillion in the US market in here, and definitely the storm might not be over yet. We'll most probably see even more in this particular week all the way through. And that's also why we suggest that you tune in next week again, where we will have another review and see how well all the EAs are doing. If the profits are up, drawdowns are down, or vice versa, we will have to wait and see. So hopefully I'll see you next week again on one of my videos. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.